Afternoon, sir. So I'm Hani Faye Tamba po. So my topic for today is about the position management, job design, classification, and organizational design. Position management. So by definition, position management is defined as the process of organizing and assigning work to and among positions in order to accomplish missions, mission requirements in the most economical and efficient manner. So it is also the process of determining the number of positions needed, the skills and knowledge required, and the organizational grouping to fulfill the agency's mission. So purpose of position management. So it is to ensure efficiency and economy in attaining the objective of the organizations through maximum use of human resources. It also establishes a position structure which will best serve organizational and program needs by providing optimum balance among such factors are the economy, efficiency, skills utilization, employee motivation, and employee development. This also contribute to employee productivity by appropriate utilization of positions, including supervisory and administrative support positions. It also ensures that the duties and responsibilities of each position are clearly delineated, do not conflict with the duties of other positions, and serve as an effective aid in recruitment, placement, career progression, performance appraisal, and recognitions and awards. It also takes positive actions to eliminate unwarranted fragmentation and for grade controlling duties and ensure that position analysis is effectively accomplished and that position descriptions are current, specific, and accurate. So for the job design, it is defined as a process of describing a job in terms of its duties and responsibilities. So according to Davis, job design is defined as the specification of the content, methods, and relationship of jobs in order to satisfy technological and organizational requirements, as well as the social and personal requirements of the job holder. So this means that job design or a well-designed job leads to higher motivation and productivity, high quality of work, and also leading to higher job satisfaction, lower absence, and lower employee turnover and pensions. So goals of job designing, facilitating the interest of employees towards the job and enhancing their satisfaction, increasing employees' motivation and productivity. It also enhancing skills and identifying their training needs, covering the modern needs of employee participation, and ensuring safer working environment. Also, making the communication process clear and effective in the organizations and improve the quality working life of employees. It also eliminating the unnecessary levels of supervision, checking, and control. Guidelines for job designing. So identifying the task, clearly and forming natural work units. So and fixing the responsibility associated with a job clearly, allowing appropriate provision and autonomy of doing a work the job design, equipping the employees to participate in decision making, including details about working environment of a job, developing interest of employees in their jobs para mas motivate silang makapag-perform in their designated task, and presenting the timely feedback to employees on their performance so that malaman din nila kung anong kailangan nilang i-improve at kung pwede na sila mabigyan ng mas mabigat na responsibility, and also providing timely recognition and sufficient support to employees. Objective of designs. There are clearly and many alternative designs of any given job. For this reason, the understanding of what job design is supposed to achieve is particularly important. So, there are 5 performance objectives that may use as guide for job design decisions. So, first is the quality. So, the quality of staff to produce high quality products and services can be affected by job design. So this includes avoiding errors in short term, but also includes designing jobs which encourage staff to improve the job itself in such a way as to make errors less likely to happen. Next is the speed. Sometimes speed of response is the objective to achieve job designs. So for example, in a way in which information technology or IT specialists are organized and arrange tasks which they are trained, and meron na sila sequence of activities and procedures para mag-troubleshoot which they can use para makapag-decide for the appropriate action. So mas mabilis na yung pagbigay nila ng solution in case of emergencies. At saka may mga down na internet services. Next is the dependability. Dependable supply of goods and services is usually influenced in some way by the job design. So for example, yung sa postal services, so yung working arrangement nila, yung multi-skilling, accurate use ng equipment, through goods, staff machines, and interface design. So the design of are all dependable, so mas ma-deliver na mas yung letters and particles. So next is the flexibility. Job design can affect the operation to change the nature of its activity. So new product serves flexibility, mix flexibility, volume flexibility, and the delivery flexibility are all independent to some extent of job design. Next is the cost. All the elements of job design described above will have an effect on the productivity, and therefore, the cost of job productivity in this context means the ratio of output and labor input. For the example, the number of customers served per hour or the number of products made per worker. Methods of job design. So there are 3 methods of job design. So one is a job rotation. So job rotation involves shifting a person from one job to another so that he is able to understand and learn what each job involves. So job rotation gives an idea about the job to be performed at every level. So once a person is able to understand, he is in a better understanding of the work organizations. So in our organization, mostly na nag-rotate is yung mga directors and division chiefs. So it's either na ma-transfer sila ng ibang units or sa cluster offices namin sa region. So advantage of job rotation, so it's avoid monopoly. So job rotations helps to avoid monopoly of job and enable the employee to learn new things and therefore enjoy his job. Provides opportunity to broaden one's knowledge. Due to job rotation, the person is able to learn different jobs in the organizations na mas mapalawak pa niya yung knowledge niya and yung experience and expertise niya in the field. Avoiding fraudulent practice. So in an organization like banks, jobs rotation is undertaken para mas ma-prevent ng employees gumawa ng mga, tapos kung minsan kasi pag kabisado mo na yung pataharan or yung pasikot-sikot doon sa isang department o sa organizations, so pwede mo siyang malusutan. The disadvantage of job rotation is the frequent interruptions. So job rotations result in frequent interruptions of work. A person who is doing a particular job and gets comfortable, suddenly finds himself shifted to another job or department, so kailangan niya ulit mag-adjust. Or kung yung papalit na sa kanya, baka kailangan ulit ng panibagong introduction or orientation ulit ng mga processes. So medyo may delay siya konti kasi kailangan mo din explain sa kanya kung anong yung process ninyo at saka ma-absorb din niya yung mga processes and other activities na ginagawa ng division ninyo. So kung hindi siya masyadong familiar doon, so medyo parang may delay din sa pag-deliver ng services. Reduces uniformity and quality. Quality of work done by a trained worker is different from that of a new worker. So kailangan mo ulit sa reorient, kailangan mo ulit explain from the very start kung paano yung process, kung ano yung mga activities nyo, kung ano yung functions nyo. And then misunderstanding with union members. So some job rotation may lead to misunderstanding with members of the union. So the union might think that employees are being harassed or more work is being taken from them. Next is the job enlargement. So it involves combining activities at at same level. So same level in the organizations and adding them to the existing job, it increases the scope of the job. So from the word na enlargement, so it increases the scope of the job. So there are cases sa organization namin na yung director is hindi lang isa yung hawak niya, but it's tatlong bureau or services yung hawak or sinusupervise niya. So pero mostly naman na involved sa job enlargement is yung mga lower level like us. Hindi lang isang projects yung mga projects like both technical and administrative tasks sa units namin. So yung advantage ng job enlargement is a variety of skills, improved learning capacity, and wide range of activities. So ito yung kagandahan ng sa job enlargement kasi kung na-expose ka din naman na sa different activities dun sa units mo, so parang yung experience at expertise mo is lumalawak na rin. So na-improve na din yung skills, yung technical skills mo, at saka possible na ma-improve din yung earning capacity mo. Disadvantage niya is increase in work burden lang kasi yun nga nagtatagal yung trabaho mo. So increasing frustration of the employee. Increasing frustration of the employee kasi may cases kasi para napaka-frustrate sila because nag-increase sila ng activity ng trabaho pero hindi naman na-increase yung salary nila. So yun yung mostly na nagiging issue pag sa job enlargement kasi parang minsan overload ka na pero yung sahod mo is hindi naman siya nag-increase. Parang nag-upgrade lang yung trabaho mo. Pero in our times naman, during ng job order kami, so once na napansin naman ng supervisor namin na medyo nag-overload na kami and nagpe-perform naman kami nung maganda naman yung performance namin, parang yearly naman yung ginagawa ng updates namin parang yun yung magiging motivation namin na magtrabaho pa at hindi lang basta din umayaw sa mga trabaho. So next. Job enrichment, so it gives a lot of freedom to the employee, but at the same time increases responsibility. So dito naman sa job enrichment, para binibigyan na ng freedom yung employee at nag-increase na din siya na responsibility. So yung advantages is interesting, challenging job, improves decision making. So parang hinahayaan na rin siyang mag-decide. And then identifies future managerial caliber, identifies higher order needs of employees, na-reduce yung workload ng supervisors kasi yung decision making is nasa subordinates nila. Yung disadvantage nito is parang overburden din sa employees kasi parang nabawasan ng workload yung supervisor niya. So parang more on yung responsibility is nasa kanya na. So next is the classification. So classification is the process of determining the appropriate pay plan, series, and grade of a position based on its designated duties and responsibilities, and consistent with prevailing laws, standards, and guidelines. So the purpose of classification is to determine the basic rate of pay, is the basis of pay equity under the law, and approved final job classifications becomes the legal basis of setting pay for the position. So meron po tayo sa legislation for the salaries with classification ng job positions po natin. Concepts of position classification. So by definition, position is the basic unit of an organization. So set and correct duties and responsibilities assigned by competent authority to perform by an individual, whether on a full-time or a part-time basis. It's a group by class on the basis of similarity of kind and level of difficulty and responsibility of work. So an overview on the evolution of the position classification and compensation system in the Philippine government. So during the first 3 years of the American regime in 1898 to 1900, there was no formal position classification and salary administration system in the Philippines. So the common designation of positions in the government service were clerk, employee, inspector, teacher, translator, interpreter, stenographer, typist, and janitor or messenger. So to indicate the level of difficulty, such executive assistant and chief were used. So para ma-resolve yung issue na to, Act number 5 entitled Act of Establishment and Maintenance an Efficient and Honest Civil Service, Civil Servant in the Philippines was enacted by the Philippine Commission on September 1900. Among the salient provisions of the said act were the creation of the Civil Service Board, which was the forerunner of the Civil Service Commission, the delegation of its power and functions, and the establishment of rules and regulations, especially those on position classification. So Act number 102, so during American regime, Act number 102, an act regulating the salaries of officers and employees in the Philippine Civil Service, dated March 9, 1901. So to uplift the economic status of civil servants, so this act was enacted and attract and retain qualified and competent staff. The Philippine Commission passed Act number 57 in 1900, directing the Philippine Civil Service Board to conduct a survey salaries in the civil service. So based on the result of the said survey, a readjustment plan was submitted by the Philippine Civil Service Board to the Philippine Commission, which is turned past Act number 102, entitled Act regulating the salaries of officers and employees in the Philippine Civil Service, dated March 9, 1901. Act number 102 categorized officers and employees of the civil service into general groups based on their salaries rather than on their duties and responsibilities. So exempted from the Act 102 were the officers of the Department of Mindanao and Sulu, the Governor General, and with the consent of the Philippine Commission, fixed salaries of the officers of the DBM. So during the Commonwealth regime, The economic depression brought about by the First World War forced the Philippines legislator and private firms to cut the salaries of their employees. So prices of commodities rose steadily. To alleviate the economic plight of the civil servants, the Philippine legislature created the Government Survey Board in 1932 under the Commonwealth Act Number 5 to conduct factual survey of all government departments and submit recommendations concerning, among others, classification of positions. After 2 years survey, the board found out that the civil servants were paid on the basis of the civil service eligibilities and not on their duties and responsibilities. Promotions on the other hand were based on the length of service. So the Commonwealth Act Number 402 and Act provide for the classification of positions and standardization of salaries in the government dated September 1938. So, so after the liberation in 1945, so this is the Philippine Republic Act, Reorganization Plan 1-8, the Position Classification Plan, and the Reorganization Plan 2-8, the pay plan, both dated May 5, 1956, was implemented. So the position classification and pay plans of 1957, on June 4, 1953, the Philippine Government Commission, Louis G. Corder and Associates of San Francisco, California, conduct a position and wage survey to submit a position classification plan, a pay plan, and cost estimates to carry out the plans. The firm would also train government personnel in position classification and in determining the salaries. So this undertaking resulted in the establishment of position classification plan, the pay plan, and the wage position classification office, or the WACO, under the reorganization plan number 1-8, 2-8, and 2-8. So the WACO classified positions on the basis of duties and responsibilities and qualification requirements. So positions that were sufficiently aligned as to duties, level of responsibilities, and qualification requirements in terms of education, experience, knowledge, skills, and abilities were given the same descriptive title and the same test of fitness. So the position classification plan of the Philippines consists the occupational services, occupational groups, classes, and series, specification or written descriptions of the classes, and the rules of and procedures of the administration and the maintenance of the plan. Grouping of classes under the position classification plan, PCP. One is the series. So consists of one or more classes or of positions which are similar as to the specialized line of works arranged by level of difficulty and responsibility. So for example, for the public health nurse, so public health nurse 1, public health nurse 2, public health nurse 3, depends on the difficulty and level of the responsibility. Organizational group consists of one or more series of classes and positions in the same or related occupation or occupational area. So under the medicine and health services is the nursing group, dentistry group, or occupational services consists of occupational groups of broadly related or similar professions or occupations. So the medicine and health service is comprised of the following: the dentistry, the medical group, and the medical technological group. Position classification factors is a characteristic or guide which measures or compares the requirements or the demand of the position. So there are three basic classification factors. First is skills and knowledge. So skills and knowledge, this measures the extent of formal education and work experience normally required for the satisfactory performance of the duties and responsibilities of a position. So education, this considers the minimum formal education, applicable training, or equivalent knowledge required for the satisfactory performance of the duties and responsibilities of a position. Experience, this considers the length of time necessary for an average new employee with the required minimum education to acquire the needed skills for the satisfactory of the job. So yung classification, yung educational experience normally set by the civil service, so dapat align din siya dun sa qualification na sinet ng civil service commission. Nature of work. So for the nature of work, this measures the characteristic inherent in the position. It considers the supervisory content of the work, analysis and problem solving required, degree of mental and physical effort and exposure to hazard, and the degree of extent of external and external relations. So for the supervision received, this considers the type, frequency, and latitude by which assignments or instructions are received, how work methods are followed, and how work is checked for quality and quantity. Analysis and problem solving required. So this considers the degree of difficulty, complexity of the assigned task and the extent to which the work involves require analytical ability, exercise of judgment, creativity, and necessary to achieve the desired result. For mental or physical effort, this considers the amount of continuity of physical exertion or mental concentration required in the completion of work, taking into consideration the pressure and extent of physical or mental effort involved. So internal or external relationship, this refers to the nature of communication and association with others, both within and outside of the office, as required for the satisfactory performance of duties and responsibilities of the position of on a regular basis. So contracts include personal discussion. Contacts include personal discussion, telephone conversation, written communication. So this sub-factor is evaluated according to the nature and limits of contact. Hardship, hazard, and personal risk involved. This considers the degree and continuity of the exposure to health or accident hazards in the performance of the duties and responsibility of a position. So next is the responsibility. So this measures the accountability of a position for supervision exercise, decisions, and action, degree of control of assets, and accuracy and confidentiality of records and reports. Role of classification in position management. So this assists managers in assessment of full-time structure of work center or unit organization. So provision of position description, choices, intermediate grades, and statement of difference. Conduct work audit, ensure Philippine governmental standards are met for supervision, structure, grades, rating change, etc. Rules and procedure in administration of the position classification. So for the original classification, action is applied to positions classified for the first time, such as a new position. So kung mag-request tayo ng bagong creation ng position for the organizational structure and staffing patterns, so the agency submits a request for creation of position together with the following justifications for their creation, duly accomplished PDFs, organizational charts, funding source, and such other documents as may be necessary. So, pag na-submit na yung mga documents, the BBM analyst evaluates the necessity for the creation of the position and classifies the position. For itemized position, a corresponding notice of organization, staffing and classification actions and NOSCA is issued to the agency for For non-itemized positions such as casual or contractual naman, BBM issues a letter authorizing their creation and their corresponding classifications. So in details, in the NOSCA serve as inputs for the personal service administration and plantilla personnel. For the itemized positions issued by the BBM to agencies each year, the original copy of the agency accomplished personal service administration and plantilla of personnel is submitted to the BBM. For non-itemized position naman, the agency prepares for corresponding plantilla of personnel. So what is organizational design? Organizational design is the process of selecting and managing aspects of the organizational structure and culture. So organizational structure aligns and relates parts of an organization so it can achieve its maximum performance. So dapat yung organizational structures is aligned with our organizational goals and qualifications na kailangan ng ating organization. So misaligned organizational structure. So pag misaligned siya, the problem normally was the structural gaps, work process, accountabilities, and critical information. Can occur when companies eliminate middle management levels without eliminating the work, forcing employees to take additional responsibilities. So diminished capacity, capability, and agility issues can rise also kung misalign ng ating organizational structure. So disorganization and improper staffing. So declining workforce engagement. So for the deorganization and proper staffing can affect the organizational cost structure, yung cash flow and ability to deliver goods and services. And can rapidly deploy also people. Declining workforce engagement can reduce retention also, decrease in customer loyalty and limit organizational performance and stakeholder value. So importance of aligning structure, so leadership. The individual responsible for developing and deploying the strategy of monitoring results. So dapat bilang leader ng agency or isang organization, so dapat align din siya dun sa qualifications or sa descriptions. Para alam niya din kung paano yung process at alam niya din kung paano yung magiging flow. And then meron na siyang knowledge or meron na siyang idea kung paano yung process ng buong organization. Organization, the structure, process, and operation by which the strategy is deployed. So job, the necessary rules and responsibilities should be aligned. So yung mga qualifications and job descriptions should be aligned also, or hindi man siya aligned, it must be yung people or yung tao yun is capable naman or kahit pa paano may knowledge na doon sa organization na pinasukan niya. So for now, the organization, our organization has one secretary, so the head of agency, 3 undersecretaries, 4 assistant secretaries, and 15 services or bureaus. Services or bureau directors. So thank you for it. That's end my presentation.
Okay, thank you very much.